Before you do anything, pause for a moment. This story does not ask you to work harder. It asks you to slow down. The evening is here. The noise of the day is fading. Outside, the light becomes softer. Inside, everything feels quieter. This is the best time to study English, not because you have more energy, but because you have more calm. I am at home now. The day is almost finished. I turn off unnecessary lights and sit down at my desk. I do not open my phone. I do not rush. I take a slow breath and let my shoulders relax. Studying English in the evening is not a task for me. It is a small ritual, a quiet moment just for myself. I look around my room. Everything feels familiar, safe, calm. This feeling helps my mind open. I remind myself that I do not need to study for a long time. I do not need to push. Even a short session is enough. A useful thought comes to my mind. A little study done calmly is better than a lot done with stress. I sit comfortably and prepare my notebook. I like the sound of paper. It feels real. I open it slowly and see my notes from before. I am not here to learn something new tonight. I am here to connect with the language again, to remind my brain that English is part of my life. The evening helps me focus in a different way. There are no messages waiting, no calls, no pressure, just me and the language. I feel more patient with myself. If I make a mistake, it does not bother me. This is not a test. This is practice. I take one more deep breath and smile slightly. I am ready to begin. Not with force, not with discipline, but with calm attention. This evening study will be short, but it will be kind, and that is why it works. Useful phrases. It is evening. I sit at my desk. I study calmly. I do not rush. This feels comfortable. Chapter 2. Reviewing my notes. I open my notebook and look at my notes from previous days. Words, short phrases, small examples. Nothing looks new or scary. That is exactly what I want in the evening. This time is not for heavy study. It is for gentle review. I remind myself that reviewing helps the brain feel safe. When the brain feels safe, learning becomes easier. I read the first line slowly. I do not rush to the next page. I let my eyes stay on the words for a moment. Some phrases feel familiar now. I recognize them. This small feeling of recognition gives me confidence. It tells me that something stayed in my mind. A useful thought appears. Progress is quiet, but real. I take a pen and underline a few words. Not everything, just the parts I want to remember. I whisper the phrases to myself, not loud, just enough to hear my own voice. Speaking softly in the evening feels natural. There is no pressure to sound perfect. I am alone. I can repeat as many times as I want. I turn the page and continue. I notice that my reading is slower than during the day, and that is fine. Slower reading helps me understand more. I do not jump between topics. I stay with one page, one idea, one small step. This calm focus feels different. It feels kind. Sometimes I stop and think about how far I have come. These notes were once difficult. Now they feel lighter. This reminds me that learning English is not about speed. It is about consistency. Little reviews like this build a strong foundation. I close the notebook for a second and take a breath. My mind feels clear, not tired. Reviewing does not drain me, it prepares me. I am ready to move to the next part of my evening study, feeling calm and confident. Useful phrases. I review my notes. I read slowly. These words feel familiar. I underline important parts. Progress feels quiet. Chapter 3. Listening to English Audio. After reviewing my notes, I feel ready to listen. I put my notebook aside and take my headphones. I like this transition. Reading wakes my mind. Listening helps it relax. I sit back in my chair and press play. A calm English voice fills the room. It is not fast, not loud, just clear and steady. I do not try to understand every word. I let go of that habit. In the evening, listening is not a test. It is exposure. I focus on the rhythm of the language, the way sentences rise and fall, the pauses, the calm speed. This helps my ear get used to English without effort. A useful thought comes to my mind. I listen without pressure. Sometimes I recognize words from my notes. That feels good. Sometimes I do not, and that is also fine. I remind myself that understanding comes in layers. First sound, then meaning, then confidence. I let the audio play and stay present. I am not doing anything else. No phone, no scrolling, just listening. The voice continues, and my breathing slows down. I feel less tense than during the day. Evening listening feels different. The mind is quieter. It does not fight the language. It accepts it. This is when learning goes deeper, not louder, deeper. I notice something important. When I listen calmly, English feels less foreign, less distant. It starts to feel familiar, like background music. This comfort matters. It makes me want to come back tomorrow. I am not forcing progress. I am building a relationship with the language. When the audio ends, I do not rush to replay it. I sit quietly for a moment. I let the sounds settle in my mind. My evening study is flowing naturally. I feel ready for the next small step. Useful phrases. I listen to English. I focus on the sound. I do not need to understand everything. I feel relaxed. Listening feels natural. Chapter 4. Repeating phrases aloud. After listening for a while, I pause the audio. I do not want to overload my mind. Now it is time to speak. Not loudly, not fast, just clearly. I choose a few short phrases from what I heard. Simple sentences, useful ones. I repeat them out loud, slowly and carefully. I listen to my own voice. This helps me feel connected to the language. I am not trying to sound perfect. I am not copying every detail. I focus on clarity, on calm pronunciation. I repeat the same phrase 2 or 3 times, then I move to the next one. Repetition like this feels gentle. It does not push me. It supports me. A useful thought comes to my mind. I practice without pressure. I notice how speaking changes my attention. When I speak, I cannot drift away. I stay present. My mouth, my ears, my mind work together. This makes the language feel more real, less abstract. I like this feeling. It reminds me that English is not only something I read or hear, it is something I can use. If I make a mistake, I do not stop. I simply repeat the phrase again, slower, softer. Mistakes feel smaller in the evening. They do not scare me. They are part of the process. I remind myself that progress comes from practice, not perfection. This makes me feel patient with myself. After a few minutes, I feel a light tiredness, not exhaustion, just a sign to slow down. I stop repeating and sit quietly for a moment. Speaking helped me activate what I learned, without stress. My evening study still feels balanced and kind. I am ready to move to the next step without rushing. Useful phrases. I repeat phrases. I speak slowly. I listen to my voice. Mistakes are okay. I practice calmly. Chapter 5. Stopping before I feel tired. After repeating phrases, I pause and check how I feel. This moment is important. I do not look at the clock first. I listen to my body and my mind. I ask myself one simple question. Do I still feel clear? The answer matters more than time. Tonight, the answer is gentle. I feel focused, but I know I should stop soon. I learned something important over time. Studying until I am tired does not help me. It makes learning feel heavy. So I choose to stop earlier. I stop while the feeling is still good. This helps my brain remember English as something calm and positive. A useful thought comes to my mind. I stop while I still enjoy it. I close my notebook slowly. I turn off the audio. I do not rush to do something else. I take a short pause and breathe. Ending a study session feels like closing a small chapter of the day. I want this ending to feel clean and comfortable, not rushed or stressful. Stopping early gives me something valuable. It gives me energy for tomorrow. It also gives me trust in myself. I know I will come back. I am not escaping. I am choosing balance. This makes learning sustainable. Little sessions done calmly build more than long sessions done with force. I notice that my mind feels light, not full. There is space left. This space is good. It allows new information to settle quietly. I remind myself that learning continues even when I stop actively studying. The brain works in the background. This thought brings me peace. I stand up and stretch gently. My English study for tonight is finished. I feel satisfied, not proud, not exhausted, just content. This is how I want my evenings to feel: calm, intentional, kind to myself. Useful phrases. I check how I feel. I stop before I am tired. I enjoy learning. I trust myself. This feels balanced. Chapter 6. A calm end to my evening study. I turn off the light at my desk and step back for a moment. My English study is finished for today. I do not feel tired. I do not feel overloaded. I feel calm. This is exactly how I want to end my evening. Learning did not take much time, but it gave me something important: connection, confidence, quiet progress. I notice how different this feels from studying with pressure. There was no rush, no long list of tasks, just simple actions done with attention: reviewing notes, listening, repeating, stopping on time. This routine feels gentle but strong. It fits naturally into my life. I understand something clearly now. Studying English does not have to be hard to be effective. It has to be consistent, calm, kind. When I respect my energy, learning becomes something I want to return to, not something I avoid. I prepare for the rest of the evening. Maybe I will read. Maybe I will rest. My mind feels clear. English stays with me quietly in the background. I know I will come back tomorrow, not because I force myself, but because this way of learning feels right. This is how I want to grow, little by little, evening by evening, with patience and calm attention. This is not fast progress, but it is real, and it lasts. Useful phrases. I finish my study. I feel calm. I learn a little every day. I stop with energy. Learning feels natural. Thank you for spending this quiet evening with us. If this calm study story helped you, watch our other English learning videos on the channel. Stay with us and keep learning English slowly, comfortably, and with confidence. Thanks! Please subscribe and like. Spin a new yarn with us every week. See you there!